Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Emily Bennett. Our severe weather alert day continues as heavy rain could cause localized flooding issues as we head into the end of the week. Chief Meteorologist Paige Jones joins us now with an update on the heavy rain moving through now. Paige?
Yeah, Emily, we've been seeing that rain really on and off throughout the day, but the soggy weather is here and it's here to stay as we head into tonight. Let's go ahead and take you up to radar where over the past couple of hours we've seen that heavy rain really moving through, especially those areas into Breathitt County here in Perry County, a little bit into Knott County as well, now moving into parts of Magoffin, a little bit into Floyd, and even up there into Johnson County with those yellows and those oranges. Definitely heavy rain falling throughout the mountains. Cumberland Valley is really the area that we've been talking about the most, and for now, well, they're getting that light rain to possibly a little bit of a rain break for them. So a little bit of good news, but of course more rain is on the way as we head into the overnight hours. You can see that band, those yellows and those oranges shifting down into parts of that deep Cumberland Valley, mostly that Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia border, which will have most of the issues as we head into tonight. And then as we head into your Friday, a little bit lighter rain expected and a little bit more scattered by the afternoon hours. But heavy rain continues to fall even into your Saturday with a little bit of a wintry mix on the back end of this system. I'll have those details, timings, and impacts coming up in just a little bit.
We now turn to breaking news out of Iraq. It's a tense morning for troops stationed in Baghdad. The U.S. Defense Department says it has killed a high-level Iranian general in an attack at the Baghdad International Airport. The major development follows 2 days of unrest outside the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand has the latest.
The U.S. Defense Department says the military, at the direction of the president, conducted, quote, a defensive action at the Baghdad International Airport in Iraq, killing a key Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani. In a statement, the Defense Department said Soleimani, who led the elite Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, was actively developing plans to attack American diplomats and service members in Iraq and throughout the region. The statement went on to say this strike was aimed at deterring future Iranian attack plans. The United States will continue to take all necessary action to protect our people and our interests wherever they are around the world. The U.S. says General Soleimani approved the siege this week on the U.S. Embassy by Iranian-backed militia supporters in Baghdad. On Thursday, the U.S. increased its presence in the region. U.S. troops with the 82nd Airborne Division arrived in Kuwait. An additional 3,000 are on alert and preparing to deploy to the region.
It's not a show of force. It's a reinforcing capability that we can employ not just in Iraq, but throughout the region.
Speaking to reporters off camera, Defense Secretary Mark Esper said earlier Thursday that there are indications militias loyal to Iran are planning further attacks.
Do I think they may do something? Yes, and they will likely regret it.
Iranian-backed demonstrators stormed the U.S. Embassy's perimeter on Tuesday, setting fires, throwing rocks, and destroying a reception building at the sprawling compound. After the operation, the president sent one tweet, an American flag. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
In addition to the 82nd Airborne, the Pentagon is deploying 3 Marine amphibious ships to the Persian Gulf as reinforcements in case they are needed. Now, new at 11, court officials tell WYMT a guilty plea has been entered in a Martin County triple murder case. Lance Ward was accused in the deaths of Derek James, Amber Lockard, and Micah Sammons back in 2018. Ward originally pled not guilty in June of 2018. In 2019, prosecutors filed paperwork to seek the death penalty in the case. Ward was scheduled to go before a grand jury in March of 2020. The robbery charges were dismissed. Attorney General Daniel Cameron is asking the FBI to investigate former Governor Matt Bevin's pardons. Representative Chris Harris and Senate Minority Leader Morgan McGarvey asked for the investigation weeks ago. The investigation is focused on the pardon of Patrick Baker, who was convicted of reckless homicide. He was described as the trigger man in the death of Donald Mills. Baker's family raised more than $20,000 for the Bevin campaign. Today, I talked to the sister of Donald Mills, who says she hopes this investigation will land Baker back in jail. Melinda Mills says May 9th, 2014 will forever be burned into her mind as she scrolled through social media, finding out her brother had been murdered.
It was unreal believing it, and then, you know, you started getting private messages from everybody, and they're like, you know, we know stuff's on social media. You know, is it true or not? Well, I didn't know.
Trials went on for 4 years, and finally, after Patrick Baker was convicted of killing her brother Donald Mills, she had some peace.
And we thought we had everything behind us until it came up for parole hearings, and unfortunately, it came up before that.
Just weeks ago, on her 36th birthday, Baker's pardon from former Governor Matt Bevin was announced.
He just had a little smirky smile, and everybody knows he's guilty. We all know that's involved. The state police knows he's guilty. We all know it because the evidence is there to back it up.
And now, Attorney General Daniel Cameron is asking the FBI to investigate.
It would be closure. It'd be like, you know, all the pieces to the puzzle fitting together.
Hoping the investigation will actually turn this for good.
And we hope and pray that, you know, he gets more time than what he got during the actual trial in the state case. And now that it's federal, that there could be a lot more changes.
Mills wanting investigations to end by January 28th.
That would be his 35th birthday.
Praying, wishing for an end to the heartbreak.
And I'd love to see it come out by then.
We do not know when the investigations will start. Attorney General Daniel Cameron has said his office is willing to assist in any way. A deputy jailer at the Kentucky River Regional Jail found himself behind bars after being arrested for what police believe was smuggling drugs into the jail. Shannon Adams worked for the jail for around 2 months. Yesterday, he was arrested during a traffic stop with a cigarette pack full of Suboxone. Jelani Brewer, jail administrator, says this is disheartening.
We do everything in our power to keep drugs out of our facility. We've put a fence on the exterior of our building. We've added a body scanner. We strip search every inmate coming in, off our work details, making sure they're not bringing it in.
Adams faces a charge of trafficking in the 2nd degree. Officials in Floyd County remain optimistic about the recently announced state prison project. In October, former Governor Matt Bevin announced that the old Otter Creek prison in Wheelwright would reopen as a state-operated prison. During his last days as governor, Bevin signed an emergency lease for the property, leaving many people unsure about the future of the project.
The indication I'm getting from the folks that I'm talking to in Frankfort, the prison project is still moving forward. There's some issues that have to be hammered out here, some last-minute issues to be taken care of, but I'm optimistic.
Judge Executive Robbie Williams says he believes the state and local leaders will still work to bring those 200 jobs to the region. A mother in London now shares a birthday with her son Jackson, who was born on New Year's. Jackson Storms was the first baby of 2020 born in London. His mother, Anna, not only shares a birthday, but in 1998 she was the first baby of the year born in Napoleon, Ohio. Jackson was supposed to be delivered on January 8th, but ended up becoming the best 22nd birthday present his mother had.
After 39 weeks, we were told that we could have him, and I was like, okay, we'll have him whenever, at any time. So we just picked the first, just because I was ready to give birth.
The family was sent home with several gifts from the hospital, including a new car seat and radio flyer. A new procedure is helping people diagnosed with carotid artery disease. It affects about 500,000 people. Surgeons performing the procedure says it takes less risk and can be more effective. And there's a surgeon at the University of Kentucky using the method to help save lives. Miranda Combs has this story new at 6.
I mean, who wants their whole head and neck cut open?
No. And then yours is just a touch.
There's a small little scar right here. That's it.
I see it.
Lanny Evans is one of close to 500,000 people a year to be diagnosed with carotid artery disease.
All I know is that a piece of plaque went across my eye.
Actually, a patient who has a bypass from their carotid.
Dr. Sam Tiaggi just happened to be on call the weekend it happened. He rushed her in.
I was a perfect candidate for his procedure.
She could have had a stroke at any time.
When they told me this was 75% blocked, I just needed to clear that up. I just wanted it fixed.
So she didn't blink when Dr. Tiaggi told her there was a new surgery to clean the plaque out of her carotid artery. Since the 1950s, cardiovascular surgeons have commonly made a relatively long incision down a patient's neck to unblock the artery. But the problem is sometimes the blockage is higher or lower than the area a surgeon can get to.
So for those patients, in order to prevent stroke from those plaques, the only other option has been either medical therapy or a stent placed from the groin.
But there was a downside to that, too. As the stent goes up the blocked area, it can cause pieces of the plaque to break off and go to the brain, causing a stroke.
And so that procedure of a stent being placed from the groin, or a carotid stent, has around double the risk of stroke than the traditional open surgery.
That being said, Dr. Tiagi found a relatively new procedure that avoids the issues with the old traditional open surgery and the stent surgery.
It's called the transcarotid artery revascularization, or TCAR.
And when did you bring it here?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay.
He's done about 20 of the procedures. Evans was one of them.
So essentially what we do is we make a small incision right above the collarbone, approximately an inch, and we're able to put a catheter in there, and that gives us the ability to do flow reversal. So the blood normally goes up to the brain like this, but what it does is the blood goes up to the brain from the other side and comes down this way. And the reason that's important is because when we place the stent, any bits of plaque that could break off that would go to the brain are now going the other direction, goes into the sheath, into a filter, and we give the blood back.
Dr. Tiagi admits the older procedures shouldn't be discounted, but considering so many people deal with this disease, it's important to know the options. In Lexington, Miranda Combs, WYMT Mountain News.
1/4 of all strokes come from the carotid artery. Now you can kick off the new year by saving a life tomorrow. The Kentucky Blood Center and WYMT are partnering to ensure there is an adequate blood supply for the new year. The Bloodmobile will be parked outside our station from 3 until 6 tomorrow afternoon. Donors will receive a KBC hoodie. To schedule a donation, you can visit kybloodcenter.org. Walk-ins are also welcome. Coming up at 11, more than 12 people have died in massive wildfires in Australia. While many there are furious at their prime minister.
And soggy weather continues tonight, but how long will it last? I'll have those details coming up.